Hello, Chris here with Dan, and today we're going to be talking about the Golden Globes because they were given out last night in Hollywood. So, Croops, I think the biggest one of all was 12 Years a Slave winning Best Motion Picture Drama.
Yeah, so that's the biggie, kind of the equivalent of Best Film, really, because they split categories for Best Film, don't they? They have a comedy and musical, which we'll get onto in a minute.
Yeah.
But 12 Years a Slave, I actually saw this over the weekend, and it is it's weighty material, and it's not easy to watch, and it's effective, and it's emotional, and I was crying a bit at the end, and it's really powerful, and it's beautifully made. Actually, I was surprised by how beautifully made it was. Probably shouldn't have been Steve McQueen being an artist and actually holding a Turner Prize at the moment. Lighting in it's tremendous, and Chiwetel Ejiofor's role in it is very, very stunning.
So, was it the best film of the year in your opinion?
Out of those five, Captain Phillips, Gravity, Philomena and Rush, I do think it's probably the best film of those five.
Okay. So I guess Gravity was the one that people thought might have a shot
and
at.
It's got, having seen 12 Years a Slave, it has so much more substance to be probably deserving of a Best Motion Picture award, even though Gravity is a technical masterpiece.
And that's probably illustrated by the fact that Alfonso Cuarón actually won the Best Director award by Steve McQueen.
That's probably quite a good compromise. What do you think about that?
Well, is that fair on Steve McQueen, though? The Best Picture doesn't direct itself. This is always the controversy when you split those two awards. But I think we talked about it with the BAFTA nominations. I could see it all the way through the award season going this way, where they want to reward both those movies.
With a lot of award ceremonies, what you've got to remember, it isn't necessarily the best. It's about people with a scorecard making those decisions. Yeah. And human nature, most nice people would probably tick one for one, and then might get to the director category and go, well, Gravity was also good, so we'll split it that way, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I think you've always got to take that into consideration.
But I think Steve McQueen can feel a little hard done by there.
Yeah.
Let's carry on in the dramas category. Best Actress went to Cate Blanchett for Blue Jasmine, which I've seen, and she is absolutely fantastic in the movie. I can't really argue with that. I guess Sandra Bullock, I think a few people were pulling for her. She's pretty impressive in Gravity. You know, she's on screen for pretty much the whole movie, and she's on her own for a lot of it.
I think Sandra Bullock's great in that movie, and she goes from being quite a cold person in the first 90 minutes to really having quite a lot to do late on, and her character really progresses, even though it's quite, in terms of plot, quite bare-boned as a film. I think Emma Thompson is exceptional in Saving Mr. Banks. And
You're a fan of that performance,
I think Saving Mr. Banks is brilliant. I think she is one of the main reasons why it is so good. I feel like Saving Mr. Banks, looking at some of the way that they break down the categories, could have found itself in comedy and musical, really. There's a lot of big laughs. I probably laughed more in Saving Mr. Banks than most films last year. So I feel Emma Thompson might have been lucky if she was moved to that category.
Well, the Brits got screwed there, didn't they? Dench, Winslet, Thompson, shut out.
Sessions.
Best Actor, a little bit of a surprise here. I think Chiwetel Ejiofor was the big favourite for 12 Years a Slave, but Matthew McConaughey won for Dallas Buyers Club.
See, I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club. What's so good about that performance?
It's just very emotive. I mean, it's a character that goes on a huge journey. It's the kind of thing that awards like. It's based on a true story. It's based on a tragedy. It's he's a guy who died of AIDS, but he started off very homophobic, quite an arsehole, to be honest. And then as the story unfolds, he really goes through a change. And it's an amazing performance. But that said, I don't even know if it's Matthew McConaughey's best performance of last year, because we're both big fans of Mud, aren't we?
I think Mud has been, to be honest, royally screwed over this award season, because it came out so early in the year. I think it's just kind of slipped off the radar. And I watched it not so long ago again, and I think it's absolutely exceptional. I think he's exceptional in it. And it's a real shame that it's not in contention for any awards, really. I think it's a real shame.
But he's a deserving winner in that category.
So just got to Ejiofor, seeing him yesterday, is if you watch the trailer of 12 Years a Slave, you think it's going to be this really big kind of grandstanding performance, because there's a speech they use in the trailer about, I will wait till freedom is opportune. And it's a great speech and delivered with a lot of punch. But in the film, a lot of it is him being submissive in a way that he knows he needs to be to survive. And it's a really interesting performance. It's a very quiet performance. It's controlled. And not a lot of it's internal. It's him standing there. It's him being physically broken down over the course of the film. So at the beginning of the film, he walks chest out, confident, man about town. And at the end, he's hobbling, and he's just a broken exterior, even though the soul might be strong. And it's kind of a different performance than I was expecting. And I think it's worthy of recognition, but it's a lot more subtle than I thought.
But McConaughey's nevertheless a deserving winner.
Yeah,
and then
if he wins the Oscar, that is one of the most amazing turnarounds of a career.
Yeah. Well, Ben Affleck last year.
Yeah.
And then in the supporting actor category, Jared Leto won for Dallas Buyers Club as well.
Which was your pick, wasn't it? You thought he'd do well.
Definitely. I mean, it's an amazing performance. Again, it's a really showy performance, you know, but it's you know, you wouldn't recognise him, and he's absolutely brilliant in it. Best supporting actress, Jennifer Lawrence, American Hustle. You go with that?
I don't think it's a particularly strong category.
No.
I don't know. I think it's easy to vote for Jennifer Lawrence at the moment.
Yeah.
I really like Jennifer Lawrence, don't get me wrong, but I think it's an easy vote.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's go to motion picture, comedy or musical. Yep. Quite a tough category that. The movie won. American Hustle won. Up against stiff competition, I think, from Her, Inside Llewyn Davis, Nebraska and Wolf of Wall Street.
So the comedy musical category is a bit of a weird one.
It's weird.
Isn't it? Because the musical, I guess that's a bit of a relic from when that genre used to be much bigger than it currently is.
Yeah.
American Hustle, I don't really... There are comedic moments in it. It is funny in times, but I'm a huge fan of Wolf of Wall Street, and I think that maybe could have... You know, I think, if we're judging it as a comedy film, some huge laughs in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And much of them brought about by DiCaprio's amazing performance
on Ludes.
Yeah, he wins Best Actor in that in the acting category, and
I'm glad he's got recognition.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing he's done. To be honest,
there's so many different sides of his character, and when he's like at the head of that organisation, and I think there's a weird thing in that film makes a parallel between the sales force and him being kind of a cult leader, because they would do anything for him, and some of the behaviour that they engage in is so insane, but it's done based on the cult of personality and the charisma of that man. And when he has 3 or 4 of those speeches in the movie where he's addressing them at the mic, I don't think he's ever been better, actually.
No, I saw a lot of myself in him as well.
I can see that.
Kind of the way you follow me around.
Yeah. Is that why you're always getting those hookers in?
Not on camera. But and it's a great physical performance as well, as we've said, isn't it? It's like,
I've never seen him do like slapstick comedy.
No.
So to go from that kind of dramatic to that kind of broad and like just all out physical comedy.
Yeah,
it's great.
An actress, Amy Adams in American Hustle. Your thoughts on that one?
I don't think much about American Hustle in general. Yeah, she's good in it, but I think Amy Adams is always very good. Mm-hmm. So
again, it's not a really strong category, I don't think. We talked about Jared Leto winning Best Supporting Actor. I think the favourite in that category was Michael Fassbender. So
yeah,
I guess that could have gone.
Fassbender is like truly demonic in that film. He is excellent, actually. I think he's one of my favourite things about the film.
Screenplay goes to Spike Jonze for Her. Fair enough, I suppose. John Ridley, 12 Years a Slave, could have been an outside bet in that one.
Yeah. Of all the things that I appreciate most about 12 Years a Slave, I think it was more the technical accomplishment and the performances. Even though there was some really kind of good diction, like kind of really taps into the kind of that Southern vernacular, and the way that Southern vernacular from that time period uses a lot of very kind of interesting words and sentence construction. So yeah, it's quite technically accomplished, I guess.
Frozen wins Best Animated Feature, which is still making an absolute fortune in cinemas, and you're a big fan of Frozen.
I think Frozen, to be frank, I was going to swear then, it's way better than The Croods and Despicable Me 2. You know, the way which one of them is going to last, stand the test of time, it's going to be Frozen, because I think it's up there with some of the best films Disney have made. I really do.
Foreign language films, Great Beauty. Everyone's loved that over here in the UK. Blue's the Warmest Colour maybe could have given it a run for its money, but I think that's a worthy winner. Original score went to All Is Lost.
Yeah.
Don't really know much about that one, if I'm honest.
12 Years a Slave, the score in that, very subtle, very understated, but I'm pretty sure it is just a reprieve of Inception.
It's the same.
It's Hans Zimmer again.
Yeah.
But Hans Zimmer does all these films. But it's it really does sound like Inception when Cobb is older and he's growing old with his wife. All the more kind of melancholic stuff, very similar.
Yeah, and finally we've got Best Original Song, which goes to U2 for Ordinary Love from Mandela. Do you remember this?
I remember it playing over the end credits and going, "Is that U2?" I don't. What does ordinary love even mean?
And Let It Go from Frozen, I thought.
I think Let It Go was the standout song. Let It Go was my favourite song in the film.
And Please Mr. Kennedy from Inside Llewyn Davis is quite funny. Like that would have been a nice kind of left field winner.
U2, because if there's anything, it's not really. There's nothing really ordinary about Nelson Mandela. I think that's kind of the point, but.
So what do you think this means for the big one, the Oscars?
Is it any reliable prediction? I think 12 Years a Slave will dominate at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think it will probably pick up a little bit more momentum heading into it as well. I don't know when is voting. Has it been for the Oscars?
It's still happening.
Still happening. So if that's going to gain momentum, I can only see that dominating in a few more categories, like Best Supporting Actor for Michael Fassbender, for instance. Mm-hmm. You never know. It might gain a bit more traction heading into that final straight.
Yeah. I think it's the hot favourite now. I think what we said earlier, I think maybe it'll win Best Picture and Cuarón Best Director. I think the big thing from this is McConaughey winning Best Actor in the drama category. That could really mix things up, I think, come the Oscars.
Yeah, I think that's the strongest category, one of the strongest categories.
Yeah. Cool. So we've got that's the Golden Globe Awards, but we've got the BAFTAs coming up soon and the Oscars. So keep it here for all our awards coverage.